Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Getting With the Program, talking about episode 4 of season 2 of RWBY, Painting the Town. I am, of course, your ever-friendly Pokeprof, joined once again by Kross.
Hello.
And Ashen Sky.
Hi.
So, this episode legit just picks up right where the last one left off. We get the full story from Penny, she flats out says, hey, my father made me, and he had help from General Ironwood, and is like, this is how I came to be, and I'm basically the next in line of being this, super duper protecting everyone robot coming up. And that's pretty much it when it comes to her for the episode. It's like, she makes sure that RWBY goes and hides away while the people who are in charge of basically keeping tabs on her go and take her home. But then after that, it pretty much goes into nonstop action as we follow up with the other girls of them getting the information and trying to figure out what's going on with Torchwick. Torchwick is a completely different entity from a completely different series. I heard that laugh.
And you'll hear it again.
Mm-hmm. And it turns out that Torchwick stole one of the metal gears that we learned about.
Metal gear.
Last episode.
It is the mechanized. So, I was just about to say, stop it. I was about to say the name. Thank you.
Now you know how it feels for me. Anyway, really, the episode mostly comes down to a fight scene once Torchwick gets introduced with the Paladin and shows it off, and it's interesting though because they're clearly trying to go for this bit of a racism angle with the Faunus, because that is where we see Torchwick. He's talking to a bunch of the Faunus that are in the White Fang and basically encouraging them to go wild because, hey, these guys aren't going to treat you right. And even though I'm the same kind of human, I'm the guys who won't treat you right, I'm going to help you to try and overthrow these other humans, mostly the government. And that seems to be more than enough for most of the Faunus to go, yeah, woo! Medium amount of enthusiasm.
Woohoo! 40 no!
I'm serious though. It's like I get it. This was still fairly early in RWBY's career, but it's like it feels hit or miss with some of the voice actors. It's like you get some of them that just go and smack it right out of the park and really give you the kind of feel and the kind of identity they're really wanting to go for. It's like I almost said Torchwood again. Torchwick is a good example. It's like that's the kind of voice that I feel fits his character, is one that really makes it his own identity, right? And the same thing for Ozpin. It's like both of those guys, they really feel like they're their own characters with their voice. And then you get a lot of these voices for these lesser characters, the characters who aren't around as much, or the characters who aren't as important, especially for the background stuff. And it's it's really it almost feels like lesser voice acting to me. But some of the cool things I noticed from this episode was Sun actually has legit Monkey King powers. I'm not sure if it's his semblance or what have you, but literally he smacks his fists together and he's able to make frickin' shadow clones to help fight alongside him, which I thought was pretty neat. We actually got to see Neptune's weapon, which is, of course, a glaive that turns into a gun, because this is RWBY, and everything has to be a gun of some kind. And I get further proof, in my personal opinion, of, hey, what Penny did should not be a big surprise to people, consider we just saw Yang literally punch a giant robot mecha into splinters.
Well, she broke it apart, but I wouldn't say splinters.
There was some splintering there, hon. It's like, especially for like one of the arms, it literally went. It literally cracked like an egg.
Well, that is apparently Yang's semblance that she can take the damage dealt to her and use it to make herself stronger.
Oh yeah, no, that I know, and that's like the one of the few things I know from like Death Battle that, when they went over her, it's like that is her whole thing. That is like, oh, I'm basically going Super Saiyan. The more I get hurt, the better I get. But
what you're saying is she likes it rough.
Really, Sky, really?
Am I wrong?
I'm more saying the fact that people being surprised and shocked the fact that Penny was able to stop a speeding truck kind of doesn't work when you've got a character who is, as far as we know, human, and yet she's able to break apart a frickin' Gundam with her fists.
Yes, but it's RWBY we're talking about who made the startled expression.
True. It still feel weird. I think it goes back with what I was saying the last episode was, it's like, maybe it's a bit more understandable if super strength is a rare thing to see as far as semblance or hidden powers are concerned. But it's like, oh yeah, no, my sister could go bench press a truck without trying.
But then again, she can only do that after getting hit by said truck.
True. So, I don't know. Maybe it's just the fact that I'm not used to the power levels of this world just yet, or they haven't really fine-tuned them.
What I found interesting about the fight was the codename attacks.
Oh yeah, like
yes,
Ladybug and Bumblebee.
That out too.
Ice Rose.
Yeah.
Ice Flower.
Ladybug.
Mm-hmm.
Checkmate. Notice when she said checkmate, you had Weiss and Blake going into the fight, black and white like chess pieces.
Mm-hmm. I kind of like that. Though I will say I feel like it's a little soon for them to be having all these command, like...
I mean, we don't exactly know how much time has passed.
True, we don't know how much time has passed between Volume 1 and Volume 2, but it feels like there could have been, like, at least one episode, I feel like, where it shows that they've been training with something like that.
That's boring.
It's called setup. I don't know. I think it's just weird for me when like characters come up with like all these little special maneuvers or a brand new technique while off camera. It's something that drove me insane in Dragon Ball Z, for example. It's like, oh yeah, no, Goku is spending this entire time learning how to use a spirit bomb, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, no, I also have the Kaioken.
Kaio what?
Thank you. I was so hoping one of you would do that. But
well, again, he beat me to it. You're very quick on the trigger tonight, Sky.
Yeah, you're actually also talking for once. It's like, it might just be the fact that I'm tired or something, but you feel like you're like actually participating.
I'm always here. I'm always listening.
He's the ceiling, Sky. He watches you. He's like, oh my goodness. Really though, after that, there's not much to this episode. It was mostly fight scene with a little bit of the characters like interacting. It's like we mostly got RWBY and Penny interacting. We got Yang going back to the bar that her trailer is from.
Yeah, they actually made a reference to her introductory video that was, when they made the 4 separate runs for each of them. He and the bar owner, and the characters in there were all in the original video.
Yeah. The one cool thing I will say, though, is the fact that this basically shows the fact that this bartender more or less is going and hiring out his own men to basically anyone who is willing to pay for them. And that includes Torchwick. So I found that...
Apparently the men he hired out didn't come back.
Yeah. So that just says just what has happened to them. Not only that, we also get introduced to a character who I mostly know by name thanks to one of my friends. We got introduced to Neapolitan, or Neo as she's more commonly known.
She is the chosen one.
All I know about her is the fact that she's a mute. You know, that's the
An ice cream mute.
Yeah. Well, she's clearly called Neapolitan because her hair and her eyes are mismatch colors.
Well, not just that. Her coloring is basically pink, white, and black. Like Neapolitan ice cream. Or brown, excuse me.
I don't know what Neapolitan ice cream you're eating.
She likes it black.
So yeah, pink, white, and brown. So like Neapolitan ice cream.
Yeah. We really don't get to see much about her. We just get to see her once, and apparently she's got a weird power or something that basically allows the villains to escape while it almost looks like they leave like a substitute or something behind.
Not really clear on what that was, actually. I don't know if they expound on it or not. I can't remember.
They probably will eventually, but I'm just making the point of the fact that it's like we have enemies who have unknown capabilities is the main focus here. I'm just wondering how exactly this is going to go over with like Ozpin and Beacon and the rest. Especially since we also learned from Penny that something else is going on here, to where General Ironwood flat out said that, this is not going to be a time of peace for long. So that's going to be very interesting to see just how that plays out.
I don't know what his reasoning is with the creation of Penny, but, considering everything that's happened recently with the White Fang and all the other stuff going on, he's a military officer, so he sees all this going on, so he's preparing for an inevitable war.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I agree with Ozpin though. So far of what we've seen is the fact that it's like there's a difference between making sure you're prepared and knowing it's like, oh hey, we might have something bad on our hands. Let's make sure we at least are armed. And literally walking around half the world with a fully armed, ready to shoot and fire force. So it's like there's a very distinct difference there, and I can see more where Ozpin's coming from. It's like, it's like this is a time of peace. You can have your military school set up. I have one too, but you can't go tromping around the countryside with everyone having an M16 in their pockets. But we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's coming up. So all we have really left to do is to go on to the next episode and see what's going to unfold. Mm-hmm. But the only thing we do know that's brewing and that's coming is the fact that we have Cinder and her allies, students, whatever you want to call Mercury and Emerald, waiting in the wings at the school. And we know that Torchwick is riling up the White Fang. Though, more appropriately, they should probably call the Red Fang now, considering the fact that they've actually got, like, their mark is, like, all red and bloody now.
Well, it's not bloody, it's just red. It's a fist with claw marks.
But other than that, I don't think there was anything really important or anything that leaped out to me about this episode. What about you guys?
No, you pretty much covered the gist of it.
I'm just curious to see where things are going. Oh, actually, one tiny little thing that you actually pointed out when we were watching the episode I thought was kind of cute and a nice little nod to the original inspiration of the character. Penny, whenever she tells a lie, seems to hiccup.
Yeah, instead of the whole growing the nose thing like Pinocchio, she hiccups.
Yeah, so that's a cute little nod and something to make give Penny another little endearing character trait. Though just the fact that she is very much the hello friends, like she doesn't fully understand human nature just yet, is something that I like seeing in a character. So
she's very innocent.
Mm-hmm.
She tries to people.
Yeah, she tries to people. I like that. I try to people too sometimes. It doesn't always work. But with all that said, I think we'll go ahead and leave it off. And until then, folks, stay frosty.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, it's your ever-friendly Pokeprof, and I wanted to thank you for watching yet another episode of Getting With The Program. If you got any suggestions on how to make the show better, or you're just wanting to say hi, leave a comment below. If you also like and subscribe, that will definitely help us out on the channel. Also be sure to check out the upcoming episode of Fascinating Fiction, a solo series in which I'm wanting to do a little bit more scripted content. You can also follow both me and Kitty, and I believe also Sky as well, on social media, mostly Twitter, and as well as when we stream on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays over on Twitch, where we mostly just play games that I've never played before and goof around. Hope to see you guys there, but until then, stay frosty.